In this video we're going to talk about tabs and bridges in the profiling function. So I already have a profiling cut set up. I've selected this closed polygon as my control geometry. I've set it as a 1/2 inch end mill. I've set my feeds and speeds and clearance, and I've set my parameters. Total depth of cut is 0.375. My stock is 3/8, so this will cut completely through it. I've set this for essentially 2 tool passes. Roughing depth of 0.275 and a finished depth of 100 thousandths. For a 1/2 inch end mill, this will be fine. So my roughing depth cuts that in one pass, and then finishing depth. My exit and entry is a long 3D path and none. My advanced parameters, I've set perform arc fitting and used smooth transitions, and I haven't selected bridges or tabs yet. So I'm going to generate this and simulate it. And so you can see here in 2 tool paths, it basically cut through the stock. So if I rotate, you can see that it's cut that stock clear of the outer piece of stock. So this inner piece becomes a part that we can pick up off the table. Problem with this is once that cutter finishes up, it can easily kick and move this piece in the center. And if that kicks to the side and hits the tool, it can throw it across the room or at minimum damage the part, probably damage the cutter as well. So we need to go back into parameters. We're going to go to advanced cut parameters, and we're going to create bridges. Now we can select the height and length of the bridge. The height is Z axis, and so for this I'm going to set this at 150 thousandths. I'm going to set the length. I'd like to go a little higher than this. I'm going to go to 300 thousandths, and I'm going to set this for 3 bridges. So now we're going to generate this. Go back and hit simulate, and now if we look at it, we'll notice that we've got 3 little bridges put in. I'm going to highlight that back and zoom in, but notice as the tool is coming along, it's going to pull up and then push back down kind of in a ramp function, and that's going to form that bridge. So the bridge is going to have curved sides, and then you can cut here with a chisel or something like that. The other kind of cautionary piece here is if your tabs are too small and you miss your Z height and you're cutting into the table on that last pass, some of the bulk of the tab can end up being cut into the table itself and not being on your part, which means your part is free to kick loose and hit the cutter. So that's something important to kind of think about when you're doing tabs. Also with tabs, where they are placed is important. What this is going to do is it's going to start making the tabs at the start line of this polygon. Remember how we can turn that on and look at it. So if you don't like the location, you can change the starting point, and you can also change the number of tabs to kind of let it shift around the piece as you see fit. What you really don't want is if you have interior curves, if this line had curved in, I don't want a tab on an inside curve because that's much harder to cut out and clean up with, say, a belt sander or something like that.